Hello everyone, this is Stuart Bladen, your Vice Captain speaking, and today we're going to be tying a Sunburst Irish Mayfly. I tie it in a dull grey colour as well, or in an olive colour to suit both the light during the day and the colour of the natural insects that are hatching. Our hook today will be a Hayabusa 373, which is a medium weight sprout in size 10. And our thread will be a Uni 80 in yellow. I'll use the grey for the grey version and olive for the olive version. Now I'm tying on a good 3 head lengths behind the eye. There's quite a lot of hackle on this fly, so I don't want to crowd the eye, and it helps save a little bulk. The tail will be melanistic pheasant tail. I'll take half a dozen fibres or so, straighten them, rip them off, and then get ready to tie them in. Now, usually these are tied to double the length, so I'll measure one length and then pull the tail out to give me the second length. Put the tail on top of the hook, a couple of wraps, and then take a turn underneath the tail to help lift and separate. I'll take off our waist to the same place where I tied on, which will be the length of the main body, and then put in our rib, which will be a Uni French oval gold in small. You can also use a gold wire if you prefer. And in the grey version I'll use silver or something dull. Quickly tie everything in. This is going to be a dubbed body, so we don't have to worry about it being too perfect. I always like to turn the fly over when I dub. It actually keeps the thread away from the hook point, less likely to cut it, and it just allows you to get closer to the body of the fly. Our dubbing today will be a Hemingway's UV dubbing, and the colour that we're using is light yellow. I'll use a tan version for the grey. As usual, the amount of dubbing we actually need is very, very small. Quickly dub it onto the thread, push it up and take the first loop to catch the first fibres. That gives us a nice anchor against which to then tighten up. Quickly make your way at the body of the fly, getting thicker, starting to overwrap as we get up towards the thorax area. Turn the fly the right way round again, and now we're going to go for the palmer. We're going to be using a bright yellow badger hackle, quite an unusual hackle, but it's really good because the black piece here actually simulates the black body of the insect. The black at the end actually allows us to provide the segmentation, and then the yellow pieces make the fly nice and bright. So this badger hackle perfectly tailored to the needs of this fly. Take off the fluff and then form a little anchor point by cutting off a few fibres with the scissors and quickly attach. Bring in my hackle pliers, and I'll usually put 2 turns around the thorax of the fly and then gradually work my way back in palmer. There's 2 turns, and as you can see, it does form a nice segmentation effect with this lemon yellow badger hackle with black in the centre. Final turn around the bottom, trap it down and snap off. Whatever you do, don't let go of the wire at this point or your fly will come apart. And then quickly rib the fly This is more to reinforce it rather than anything else. Quickly sweep back the fibres, put a full turn on the end for strength, and then catch that in. Quickly sweep everything back and tidy up and lay the bed for the second hackle. Now this will be a teal flank feather in yellow. I'll use a plain one for the grey, and here actually check the fibre length. Wants to be slightly longer than the badger, take away the fluff. And then the stalk on this isn't too coarse, but it is much coarser than the tip, so it is better to tie these wildfowl feathers in by the tip. So stroke back all the fibres, exposing the tip, ready to tie in. There we go. Swap hands, tie it in just in front of the palmer hacker, fold back the tip and lock it in. That way it'll never pull out. Take your hackle pliers again, attach, and then take 2 or possibly 3 turns of this hackle, depending how dense it is and how big the fly is that you're tying. So take your time, sweep everything back. If you've missed some fibres, just come back, get them out of the way. Sweep everything back and tidy up again and form the bed for the final hackle. And the final hackle will be a French partridge dyed in Sunburst. I use the natural grey for the grey version of this fly, but this is going to be a bright fly for a bright day. And the French partridge I use comes from Cook's Hill, from Steve Cooper, who does a great job in providing high quality materials. So here's a typical feather. Again, remove all the fluff. Now the stalk here really is very thick, so you absolutely must tie this in by the tip. Besides which, actually all the nice markings are on the fibres nearer the top of the feather anyway. So just as before, sweep back the fibres, exposing just a little anchor point tip for you to tie in. Exactly the same way as before, tie in the tip, fold it back to lock it in, wrap over it, and that will make for a good strong fly. And hackle pliers for the third and final time. Again, sweep back, and this will also be 2 or 3 turns of the hackle. And again, you'll just have to judge it by eye, what looks good for you, depending on the density and the size of the hackle as well. And I think this one needs the third turn. just to give it a nice full shape. And then form a nice head. Quick whip finish. Oh, that stray fibre there, just tuck it back. This next tool is actually a lady's eye brush and eyebrow brush, but it's actually perfect for preening your flies, for separating the fibres. I got this in Boots the Chemist. Not particularly expensive, but a great tying tool just to primp your fly and get all the fibres in place. Well, that's it. The Sunburst Irish Mayfly. I hope you enjoyed that. This is Stuart Bladen, your Vice Captain speaking. I hope you enjoyed our fly.